Hi everyone. I hope your semester is going well. Your summaries have now been graded. You can find your score in my comments by going back to the Turnitin site. I will post directions on D2L that explain how to view my comments in Turnitin. Please review my feedback carefully, and if you have any questions, send me an email or find me on Skype sometime. If you want to revise your essay, revision guidelines will be posted on D2L, under essay information. Now, I wanted to go over a few reminders about writing a summary. Even if you don't plan on revising your essay, the ideas discussed here can be used in almost all the writing we'll do this semester. Here are some basics to remember. The first important step is to make sure you have completed the annotating and sentence summaries before you begin. The more thorough you are, the faster and easier it will be to put together the actual essay. Don't forget, I put an example of the process per Tanin's article on D2L. Next, as you expand your written summary, don't forget to use signal phrases liberally. These are small phrases like he says, he explains, he feels, etc. Signal phrases are important for a lot of reasons. First, they remind us who is speaking. Even though we know for this assignment that it is Carr who is talking, it is still important to practice making this clear. The reader should never wonder if you're still discussing Carr's thoughts or if you're adding in your own. Next, signal phrases clearly show us Carr's claims. Don't forget this is all about Carr's argument. Your goal here is to show his main claims, which will involve not just reporting the facts and examples he gives, but interpreting how he feels about them too. Take the 26th paragraph in his article as an example. There are the facts he provides, and then there are the phrases and comments that help show us his feelings about these facts. Notice his phrases like such ambition is a natural one, even an admirable one. And later on in the paragraph, he says, why wouldn't Brandon and Paige want to be the ones to crack it? And later on, he says still, their easy assumption that we'd all be better off is unsettling. It suggests a belief that intelligence is the output of a mechanical process. He shows us more of his opinion on the matter when he says there's little place for the fuzziness of contemplation. So, when we summarize this passage, we can't just say, Google wants to make a search engine that is directly connected to our brains, an artificial intelligence. This gives us no idea how Carr feels about it or why he's talking about. We would want to say something like, while Carr admires and understands Google's desire to overcome the challenge of inventing a search engine that directly connects to our brain, he is worried that this form of artificial intelligence will keep us from doing the real work of thinking through our search processes. Finally, signal phrases are important because they show us how Carr has structured his argument. They show us not just what he thinks, but how he makes that clear to the reader. That is the goal of a summary. You are not just giving the reader the basic information. You are making a map of the argument. This means you will say things like in order to support the idea that, and Carr gives an illustration of this point when he discusses. Here is a student example that seemed to use signal phrases well. Carr opens with a stunning scene from A Space Odyssey. In this scene there's a malfunctioning machine that is having its memory circuits disconnected. Carr provides this dialogue because it reminds him of his own feeling that his brain is going. He describes his symptoms as, notice the phrases like Carr opens with, because it reminds him of. And he describes his symptoms as, because they've used signal phrases to put the emphasis on Carr. We know what information Carr is giving, why he is giving it, and how he feels about it. The next thing to remember for writing a successful summary is to use transitions, which are phrases that show connection and placement in time. For example, words like first and second are transitions because they show the order these ideas go in. When I said for example just now, I was using a transition. For example showed you that I was moving into an example of an idea I just gave, not moving on to a new idea. Using transitions keeps things moving smoothly. You don't want to feel like you're reading a bulleted list. You want things to seem to lead from one point to the next. Also, transitions help show where Carr is going and how he is connecting his ideas. This goes hand in hand with signal phrases. As you come to a new paragraph, make it clear what's happening now. What claim is he about to explain, or illustrate, or examine, or argue against? As you move through a paragraph, make sure we know why one sentence is next to another. Are they two parts of a list? Is one sentence an example of the first? Are they two separate ideas? When wanting to show how things are related, try using a coordinating conjunctions. I like to use an example from an essay my husband was writing. Here are two of his sentences. The bridge was narrow. Cars were always speeding across it. Both of these sentences are fine sentences. They make sense. You know what is happening. What you don't necessarily know is what he is trying to say. For example, the bridge was narrow, but cars were always speeding across it. Adding in this transition makes it clear that the cars are being a bit reckless. It shows that even though it is narrow, they are still going across it quickly. Changing the transition word changes the meaning. For instance, the bridge was narrow, so cars were always speeding across it. See, now the bridge is the problem. The cars are speeding across it because it's narrow. They are scared. They just want to get off. In the other scenario, the cars weren't scared, they were fearless. We could change it a third way if the sentence were, the bridge was narrow, and cars were always speeding across it. Now, we are getting two reasons why the bridge is a terrible place to be. He is not placing emphasis on either the narrowness of the bridge or the quickness of the cars. You can use these same concepts to connect and introduce ideas in your summary. Here are two examples of some nice student transitions. After establishing the reasons how the internet may affect our cognitive functions, Carr explores the why of the matter, beginning with the history of Frederick Winslow Taylor. As Carr explains, here is another example, yet in order to maintain balance in the article, Carr offers the concession that perhaps he is just being overly skeptical. In both examples, we know why he is about to give the information, and we see what it's going to do for his argument. The word hit shows us he is about to switch directions. Use these clue words everywhere so it's always clear how things are connected. Well, that's it for now. I hope these tips were helpful. Please email me if you have any questions about the comments on your essays. Good luck with essay 2. Goodbye!